Yo, 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 what is up? We are back. This is No Border Sports, and this is No Crypto and my co-host Waruna. Waruna, what's going on, man?
Doing good. It's been busy, but I have been busy, but doing good and glad to be back talking about football in general. And I have to say, now you know that I have been following football for last probably 3 years, right? Then I watched 2009 Cleveland Browns 1-8 versus Detroit Lions 1-8. Matthew Stafford with Megatron. I was like, I wish I was following football at that time, watching the games. Man, Megatron is something out of this world. I was amazed. I was amazed. I should watch more tapes, him with Matthew Stafford. Man, that's awesome. That's
Uh,
awesome.
do you see what Ekim said here? Bro. Oh, Ekim, if only, man. God, uh, you know how
I
much
will do that.
excellence would be flowing through everybody's veins? You know what I mean? They just piss it. Pissing
Yes,
excellence. It'd be
yes,
overflowing. Oh, shout out to the homies. Okay.
yes,
So we're supposed to have five guys and a six pack tonight, and the homies came up some bad luck, so they're having some issues. I mean, just people are down. Definitely keep everybody in your thoughts tonight, and stay indoors. What up,
yes.
Carcast? Carcast, he was on our channel, I
No,
believe, or no,
yes,
we were on his. Weren't we?
yes, we had a great
Yes,
show with
we were on
him.
his. Yeah, we'll have to have him on ours here.
Yes. So let's jump right in. Let's jump right into the basically the hottest topic in the Bay Area sports. Deebo, Deebo BS. So here's the idea. So we are going to talk about the both sides of the argument, from the Deebo sides as well as the 49ers side. So here again, I just want to explain to all the viewers, the idea is not just to take anyone's side, but just to put it into the perspective from the both sides and see okay what they have, so what is fair, what is not. So Ryan, let's start with this one. So Debo has said reportedly that he will not participate in any off-season activities with the 49ers. Now in the same perspective, Fred Warner, when he was due for a big contract, he still participated. But I'm not going to hold Debo is doing something wrong compared to Fred Warner. But how are you going to take this? What is your thought on this? Debo is not participating for any off-season activities. What do you think?
No, I don't think this is Debo. I think this is Debo's agent, and this is his negotiating tactics. Okay. So, yes, Debo's going along with it, but he's going along with it because somebody who's supposedly a trained professional, is giving him the advice to do it. What did Kim just say there? Sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Let's answer the Kim's comment
Yeah. So
along
I
the
think
point.
that okay, we can hit that up in a sec. Yeah, I think this is just posturing. This is that. So notice how Debo's not going to not going to camp, right? And then all of a sudden the Niners are like, "Oh, but he's not accepting any offers. We want to do offers right now. We want to do the deal right now." No, that's just them posturing back. That's them trying to make themselves not look bad. You know what I mean? Because they if they can't feel the atmosphere around this whole topic in the fan base, they really cannot judge a room. Um, it's this, I think, is more contentious than Jimmy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Jimmy was getting racial slurs and death threat. Well, he might have been getting death threats, but he probably just doesn't look. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy probably just doesn't see what the normies say. You know what I mean? If there's not a blue check mark, he doesn't care. Deebo probably reading everything, like taking notes and stuff, like call people out after the game, at people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you said I couldn't do this? Oh, I put up 220. Yeah, huh? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think this is all the agent. Deebo's going along with it because Deebo's trying to get paid. He's a young man. He's also a father. This is the other thing. He's also a father. So now, what does he want? I don't know anybody out there who's a parent. They want to do the best for their child. They want to figure out how to make the future for them bright, and if they can, make it so. Not that they don't have to want for everything, but there's no limits for them as long as they have hard work and or follow the guidelines of essentially what hopefully Deebo does with his money after he gets it, by investing it smartly, you know what I mean, not just blowing it on chains, you know what I mean. That's
Yeah.
not going to do anything for you.
So okay, so so in this discussion I wanted to basically break it down to subtopics. So here comes the next question. Let's say now in this scenario, right, if Deebo gets traded, what would be the trade package that 49ers should look for?
Russell Wilson size.
Okay, now there are a few things. Devonte Adams, I just looked up for the details of his trade. So what Packers got in return for Devonte Adams was first round pick number 22 overall and second round pick number 53 overall. So Tyreek Hill trade was, compared to that, it was a blockbuster because overall they got like Chiefs got collectively five um, picks in return, one first round, two second round, so on and so forth, but multiple years.
Wait, you said that the Devonte Adams trade that was one first
First round
rounder and a
pick,
second.
so it's number 22 overall, first round pick, second round pick, number 53 overall, all in 2022. But Tyreek Hill trade, it included multiple years, 2022 picks as well as 2023 picks. Now, let's say, now Devonte Adams, most, I mean, as far as wide receivers goes, probably the best wide receiver in the league.
Yes.
He still gets number 22 and number 53. So in that case, yes, Deebo has
Jamal Adams went for 2 first rounders. He's a safety.
yeah.
So
So
the Green Bay Packers
what
are
is your
idiots.
thought? Okay, if you are the John Lynch, how much would you expect?
Like I said, 2 first rounders and 2 second rounders at least.
Okay, so
That's where you
again,
start.
another question: if these are two first rounders, should they be, for example, New York Jets? They have picks in first 10. Do you expect one pick to be within first 10, again another one within, let's say, 25 to 32? What kind of picks are you expecting? Maybe one first this year, one first another year. And again,
So
when you answer,
so
tell me this: why do you think Deebo Samuel is worth two first round picks compared to Devonte Adams, who just got one first round pick and second round pick?
so uh hold on. You got me thinking on the second part of the question. Forgot what I
Yes,
was going to say
you have to
first.
think carefully, right? Why do
So
you think that he is
so
worth that much?
hold on. So I had it and so he first thing, Green Bay Packers, like I said, they got fleeced on that. That was bad. But what I would do is I would definitely ask for the one in the top 10 round. Yes. And
Okay,
the reason is because I don't think I'm going to get it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to maneuver that into getting a 5th pick.
okay,
Does that make sense?
yes,
Kind of like, all right, I'll settle, but you got to give me a 5th rounder, or you know what I mean, or the 5th rounder. You know what I'm saying? Something. I could do
okay.
something with a
So
rounder.
there's another detail, right? Because now I understand the way you value Debo, right? Let's just look at the Tyreek Hill trade, the exact details, right? Now, Chiefs will receive 2022 first round pick, but still number 29 overall. 2022 second round pick, 50th overall. 2022 fourth round pick, 2023 fourth round pick, 2023 sixth round pick. So, are you like trying to reach to the moon in this scenario? Maybe rather than being realistic, are you just trying to? Wow. So, what would be the realistic? Do you
So,
still think in that case compared to other
yeah,
trades?
to me, that is realistic. The reason why is I'm not trying to sell Deebo fucking Samuel.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So realistically, you have to offer me something that I can't fucking refuse. Okay. Plain and simple. What does it take to buy something that's not on the market? A shitload more than its value, because it's not on the fucking market. The person who has it is extremely content with it. You know how you get it? You throw money at them. You throw shitloads of money at them so they can't say no. And that's why it's 2 first rounders and 2 second rounders and some change. Or I'll take a player. I'll take you got a defensive tackle or a defensive end who's struggling. Oh, I got a spot for them, boy. I got a spot for them. Oh, were you just about to cut him? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got another guy just about. Oh, well, you can tag him on there too. You can make it look real good.
Okay. So now, based on that, so who are the teams that you think most possibly, let's say 49ers are, I think 49ers are willing to accept for the trade offers. So if that is the case, what are the teams that you think need Deebo or willing to trade for Deebo? For example, now I'll tell you, New York Jets, they have multiple picks in the
Yep.
first round. They
Definitely
can
the
spend.
Jets. Solid definitely wants to get his hands on a guy he knows and loves too. I'm sure. Out of all the other coaches in the league, if Deebo was going to play at 2 other teams, it would be either the Jets or it would be in Miami under McDaniels, and probably mean McDaniels because he likes to kick it there in the off season.
But I don't think Miami has enough trade capital at this moment after Tyreek Hill trade.
Yeah. Oh, what do they? Do they have? They've got first rounders, right?
So Miami, let me quickly check. They right now don't have anything after they traded away. So they don't have anything because they are getting this year's 29th. Yes, they are getting 29th. That was from San Francisco. Let's see what are the other places. No, they don't have anything. But I'll ask you
I'm
this:
sure they
what
have some
about
first round picks this
Green
year.
Bay Packers? What about Green Bay Packers? Number 22. They have overall number 22 pick. What about Packers? Do you think they have? Assume they can work around the draft. I mean, what you call salary cap and everything. Is that a place that maybe surprise you that Deebo get traded to?
It would surprise me.
Mhm.
First thing, I don't see the 49ers wanting to gift wrapped a gift wrap a present like Deebo Samuel to a team like the Green Bay Packers. I
Okay.
mean, talk about not setting your rookie quarterback up for success. You know what I'm saying? When
Yes.
yes, having to play in the same division with a guy who, that is, you give him away to your rivals in not in the division, but in your conference. So that to me is just dumb.
This is the next team I was going to ask about,
I
other
can see
than the
them going to the Jets
Eagles.
either. Huh?
This is the next team I was going to ask about. Kim brought it up. Eagles, other than the Jets, because Eagles, they have multiple picks in this draft. So they have number 15. Again, they have number 18. Let me check what are the other picks they have. So they are really strong this year in terms of draft capital. Do you think Eagles is a good destination for Deebo? And will
I
they pull the plug for Deebo if they have a chance?
So I do kind of think it's a good place for Deebo. I think there's kind of a young atmosphere there. They like to do crazy stuff with the ball, zing, 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 zip all around the field. They like all that type of stuff. I think he'd fit in great with their style. Um, if he's mad about racist remarks and death threats in San Francisco, wait till he gets to Philly. I mean,
You're saying.
anybody has listened to the Bill Burr rant. I mean, Philly, their people are very fan fanatic. Yes, definitely. But when things don't go right, they just S all over things. And if Deebo was to do any sort of a fumble or this or that, it would just go to pieces. So yes, I feel it would be stylistically, I think it'd be a great match for him. I think he would he'd get a lot of yards. You know what I mean? Any place he could get
Jalen Hurts
for the ball to
doesn't afraid to
downfield.
throw deep as well. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, then there is
I think
another question coming up.
The biggest thing that can help Deebo's career is being able to catch the ball in space down the field instead of getting a handoff or a toss or a 2-yard pass or a screen pass. I mean, that's also the best thing for his longevity of his career too, because I think he's going to take a lot less hits, and it kind of because you can't take Deebo out of Deebo. You know what I mean? You can't do it. Deebo has to be Deebo, or else it's not going to work right. So if you can take Deebo out of the scenarios where Deebo has to be the Deebo he needs to be to get those extra yards, you know what I mean? And he only needs to be Deebo a little bit to break one tackle and get a touchdown. I think you're setting the young man up for a great future in this league.
Yes. So here comes the next question. There is echo. Are we good?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay. So the next question is, let's say from the 49ers side, this is assume that I'm John Lynch and you are Grant Cohn and you're asking the question, why the hell are you even considering trading Deebo away? So my answer would be, okay, now we made multiple players the highest paid players in the certain positions. For example, Fred Warner, gave him a first grade contract. George Kittle gave him a first grade contract. Even for Jimmy Garoppolo, at the time after he won that 5 games, they gave him a first class contract. So 49ers, you can't say or complain that 49ers are cheap. They are not paying their players, right? So, but can they afford to do that for every position? So, is this a position that 49ers can say, okay, we don't want to spend top dollar for wide receiver position. We can get the same production in a different way. So maybe it's unfortunate. Deebo is a fan favorite. He was the 49er offense last season, but still, we have to make this tough business decision. If that is what 49ers are saying, what would be your reply?
I'm sorry, that was so long. I was about ready to ask you a question.
Okay.
So real quick, what if Alex Mack retiring, could that cause the 49ers to trade Deebo to make sure they get into the first round and then they can get like a Tyler Lindenbaum? You know what I mean? Because that guy, like, oh man, that guy, all the schematic.
So basically, coming back to the above point, what I'm basically asking is 49ers paid Kittle, 49ers paid Fred Warner, but can they do the same thing to Deebo? Because you can't pay every position. You can't pay every position with the league highest or whatever it is. So can you do the same Deebo?
Not every position, but certain choice positions you can. And then you can use your drafting and your coaching to make up for what you don't have in those other players that, not essentially are the highest paid, but they're close to them. You know what I mean? The good players that are dependable, they're always there. They're not hella flashy. You know what I mean? But they're solid. You know what I mean? They're gonna be there 80% of the time, all the time. You know what I mean? Instead of somebody who's a banger 100% of the time. You know what I mean? So you only pay them a little bit. So I think because look what the Rams do. It's what the Rams do. Essentially, the Niners are working themselves into contracts to where they're going to be like the Rams. So I'm not scared of it if we're not giving these contracts to like punters and shit. Feel me?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So
Now we do have
saying that Deebo Samuel is worth this contract. Deebo Samuel is important to the 49ers and they have to make it somehow. So that's the bottom line. I believe that what you are trying to say.
Yeah. Like, well, Deebo could play two positions essentially. You know what I mean? He's a wonder weapon. You know what I mean? The Germans used to call it, that's what the V2 rocket was. It was a Wunderweapon. You know what I mean? So he's a wonder weapon. That guy, you could put him in there and he's just going to wonder you. You know what I mean? You're going to be wondering why the hell the team can't do anything about him. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, I have a counter argument to that. So here's my counter argument. Yes, Deebo looked great last year. And he was, as I always say, Deebo was the 49er offense. 49er offense is equal to Deebo Samuel, yes. But that was mostly due to the inability of the quarterback play, because the quarterback could not drive the ball deep, pull out whatever the plays that are necessary when team is in need. So Deebo Samuel was the guy who had to rise to the occasion. But
it was the workhorse.
Right now, if we think Trey Lance, his capability, the belief that we have about his potential, his ability to throw these deep balls, do we really need that wide back type of play from Deebo, or can we let Deebo go and maybe draft another wide receiver from the upcoming draft and have a workaround? So that's my counter argument.
So the reason why is because you can, with someone like Trey Lance now at quarterback, who might be more dynamic than Jimmy and being able to toss the ball down the field and really open up the back end of this offense a little bit, right? And get some of those passing concepts going, right? But you're still, when you get into certain, championship games, Super Bowl occasions, where you're going to need a play. And if you get a play, you're going to need a player. Oh, shit. You're going to need a player like Deebo Samuel. What are you drinking on there, Haas?
Hey, I got some 805. It's I don't know, it's something new, but it's brewed locally in I believe I was somewhere in the Bay Area. I remember that's what piqued my interest. I do, yeah. It's brewed with some lime. It's got a little lime hint to it. But how you two dudes doing?
Bro, I'm almost done with this 19 point whatever the 9.5 hazy juicy IPA. This is a favorite for the I'm telling you, but I got this one I'm about to get into next. It's a guava lemonade cider. It's by Shilling Hard Cider. It's called Big Zesty. It's 6.9. I mean, it's got a koala on the front. I mean, with sunglasses. See, look, see the resemblance?
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks
good.
What I mean? That's a cool can. But hey, fellas, part of me, I kind of intrude, man, but this Deebo stuff, right?
Yes.
You guys, I imagine you guys were touching. Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you. Let's answer this question from Mack. Thank you, Mack, for joining into the chat. So let's start with answering to this question. I think this is a great point he is making. So you can start by answering this question.
Why do people care so much more about a player getting paid than what's best for the team? As a fan, I want a Super Bowl. instead of bending over backwards. In a perfect world, both would coexist. Yeah. Yeah.
I see what you're
I'm
saying.
with him. I'm with Baymack. And, here's the thing, man. His brother, you guys talked about his brother's comments as well, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
did
still
Deebo
trying to
Samuel's brother say something?
Yeah, I'm still trying to piece it together. I just caught a snippet of it, so I don't have the full detail, but essentially on the SF Niners Facebook post, Deebo's brother replied saying like, "We want out." So, and I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me if
You can
I'm
curse.
misquoted. No, I'm just not. I just don't want to misquote it because that might not have been exactly how he said
Might have
it,
been too harsh.
but his brother came out and basically said like, if the money isn't right, then we're requesting a trade. So now Niners fans are freaking out on Twitter and on YouTube. But here's where I am, man. I ain't trading Deebo unless I'm getting overwhelmed with compensation. He is so pivotal to our team, man. Like, he's our top weapon. George Kittle, Kittle's a monster, but what Deebo did last year was just different. And
So Waruna earlier asked me, he said, "What do you think the package is?" I said 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and maybe something extra. And he says, "Do you think that's
maybe a player?"
And I said, "Yes, it's totally realistic
But the
because
problem is this.
when
Devonte
I
Adams.
don't want to sell something, you gotta wow me to even let me think about it."
Yes, Devonte Adams, number 22 overall, then second round pick. Tyreek Hill, again 29 overall, then multiple second round picks, fourth rounder and sixth rounder. No receiver got 2 first round picks. Now, listen to your argument that you made. Deebo is so important for 49ers, but do the other teams think it that way? Because when they get Deebo, they doesn't get whatever the Kyle Shanahan or whatever the other players. So Deebo is just Deebo. So then he's a great player, but still,
Who
does
gives
he
a shit what
perform?
another team values him at if we don't want to sell him? It doesn't matter if you
But
you know what I'm saying?
here's the context. Here's the context what Eric brought. His brother said we want out. Then Deebo is desperate to get out and get paid. If that is the case, I don't think 49ers have the advantage because Deebo wants
They can
out.
franchise his ass. 2 years.
Thank you, Crypto. That's exactly what I was thinking. If the 49ers really want to play effing hardball with Deebo, guess what? He's still under contract for 1 season, right, on his rookie deal. After that, we can tag your ass.
And I
Which
don't want this to
Okay.
happen.
Deebo's
you're
getting
talking
paid
about-
more.
Try to do that. Packers with Devonte Adams, they try to franchise tag him. He said, "No, I'm not going to play with that kind of a."
That's true.
That's
contract."
fine.
True.
You can
But
you can
I don't
sit
think you
and
can
waste
play.
your whole career waiting to get through your 2 franchise years to then go and make the money you want. You understand that, Waruna? Like, he gets
Le'Veon
to
Bell
go
did it.
49ers will go there because
Le'Veon
49ers.
Bell did it, and I'm
plays that
sorry
year.
to interrupt, but Le'Veon Bell did it. He didn't want to play on the franchise tag, sat out a whole year, and guess what? He lost out on so much money because the contract offers were not what they could have been if you would have just signed what the Steelers were originally offering. He didn't get paid nearly as much, going to the Jets.
And there's a huge wide receiver draft class this year.
And I agree with your point, but what I'm saying is that even though we complain about Jed, Kyle, and everyone, 49ers for some reason, 49ers for some reason building a very healthy culture, transparent culture. I don't think they will go to that level, force Deebo to play with the franchise tag, because I think we have seen that, right? Because we have seen they are paying players like, as I said, Kittle, Warner, and they are transparent as much as possible. So I don't think they will go to that level. So if
You're right.
he wants out, then he will probably be out. It's unfortunate for us as fans, but I think that probably would be the end of the story.
I hear you.
I hate to say that.
You like this little prop?
I do.
I put a little
Yeah.
handle on the
Yeah.
back.
You can get your messages across without interrupting the speaker.
Less than $10.
That's a good investment right there.
Oh.
So eventually, let's see.
My sign.
Now let's move on further on this topic, right?
Yeah.
To the
I'm
next.
gonna get you,
Let's
Waruna.
say we eventually have to trade Deebo. We are probably going to get one first round pick. Let's be realistic for the moment. One first round pick. Let's say multiple second round picks, right? If that is the case, what is your draft strategy now? Deebo is gone, but now you have a first round pick. Now what would you do?
And Alex Mack is still on the fence. That fucking asshole.
That's another factor. Yes.
I mean, I'm going Christian Watson.
Okay.
I'm going Christian Watson. I think that he's not a Deebo replacement, and he's a different player than Deebo. This guy is a deep threat. But I mean, if you did want to replicate some Deebo, it would be with Treylon Burks, who's this wide receiver out of Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. And he's also physical. He's actually bigger than Deebo and plays with that same physicality. Could you put him in the backfield and run outside zone? Probably not. But personally, I'd go Christian Watson because the team would absolutely need another wide receiver. I mean, Ayuk. Let me tell you something, fellas. I'll break some news on here. Hashtag no BS. I think Ayuk he's a good player. Like he's solid. Like I don't think he's going to be this locked in future Pro Bowl. And I mean, he could have a Pro Bowl season, but I don't think he's going to be this superstar that I feel like some Niners fans kind of expect him to catapult himself into. I think he's solid. I think he's pretty good, but I don't think Ayuk is a star. So if we did trade Deebo, we'd have to get another wide receiver.
Well, obviously we're gonna have to get another wide receiver, but I mean,
like a legit big time wide receiver, Crypto.
Hey, Ayuk be making miraculous plays when the ball is horribly thrown on the sidelines, horribly thrown in other places. He makes good plays. The man can get separation, and he's got burner speed. Well, maybe not burner speed, but he's got enough speed with his skill to get separation that he can make people look silly. And he is a very dangerous threat.
I don't think he really makes people look silly. I charted you can go back and watch a YouTube video. I did. I charted every single catch of Brandon Ayuk's rookie season. I watched every one of his catches. They were all on slants and posts over the middle. Who was his quarterback? Jimmy Garoppolo. He might have had some Nick Mullins, but his double moves, his route running. I mean, like I said, I'm breaking news. This is probably my most cancelable take, right? If this gets out, but I think Ayuk, he's solid. Like he's pretty good. His route running isn't the greatest, in my opinion. Coming out of Arizona State, I didn't think he had this phenomenal route running. Is he explosive? Yes. He's quick. He has great acceleration. That's Ayuk. But he's not this route runner you're going to say, okay, beat this man, and the quarterback can count on you down in and down out to beat man coverage.
I would agree with you because I don't think even if you compare it with CD Lamb, I think CD Lamb is a better wide receiver. Just my personal take. Again, no disrespect to Ayuk, but I think I'm agreeing with you, Eric, on that point. Right? I think you are spot on.
We have a bigger samples from him. Remember, like all those times where he was open down the field and Jimmy just wasn't throwing to him. Like,
that's true. That's also true. That's also true.
That's what we talk about. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of times that he could be making moves that the ball just didn't get to him. So,
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and you're right. I've seen Ayuk open downfield many times.
You watch more film on wide receivers. That's when Waruna said you were right. I was thinking like, Waruna, you don't know why he's right.
I want to answer this
If
question.
you can't tell me he's wrong, you don't know why he's right. Because we both don't watch enough wide receiver film on that.
So I want to answer this question from Baymack. So the question is, as a fan, is it asking too much for Deebo to play through his rookie contract? Is his lifestyle in need of more money, or is he not confident on his health or all loosening up because Trey and Ayuk? So here's my take on this, right? Last year, against Green Bay, divisional round, 3rd and 7. Who did we go to? We went to Deebo. He carried the ball, got us the first down, and hobbled off the field. Deebo Samuel put his life in danger, his athletic career in danger for this team. So if a player wants to get paid, because you and I mean, we have, but sometimes graveyard shift jobs, but still we can work until, if we can stay healthy reasonably, we can work until our 60s. But Debo doesn't have that luxury. He invested all his life to be an athlete. So it's fair for from his side that he needs money when he deserves it. He needs to get paid when he can, because football is one play away, because one play is enough to put you off your entire career. There is no coming back. So I don't hold anything personally. I would say this: if Deebo Samuel gets traded and 49ers can't afford him, I would say, Deebo, thank you very much. I loved you, the memories you gave us, and I will always admire you. I will support you unless otherwise you play against 49ers. That's the respect I have for Deebo Samuel. So let's give some perspective for this young man. I believe he deserves it. Again, Baymack, nothing against you. I was just making a point that these athletes needs to get paid because they do deserve it.
Baller, you want to speak on this?
That I thought Waruna actually that was really well said.
Yeah, he took everything I pretty much want to say too.
No, that was I couldn't have said it any better. I want Deebo to remain a 49er, but he deserves to get paid. After that, and the reason why he's kind of demanding getting paid is, I mean, he was just practically had an MVP caliber season. He's the guy's legitimately a wide receiver and a running back. There's not many players in the NFL like him. He's way better than Cordell Patterson. So I'm with Waruna. Deebo deserves to be paid, and what just doesn't make sense is Jimmy Garoppolo's on this roster taking up $27 million. It's really fucking mind blowing the more I think about it. And actually, Keltz had another point that he had made. This might be the one with Watson, Christian Watson. Yeah, actually, this is the one right here. Thanks for pulling it up, because that's what I said, Keltz. I said if we did trade Deebo, first round pick, I'm grabbing Christian Watson because he's going to give that explosive element. But hey, gentlemen, I got to get out of here. Hashtag no BS. Thanks for letting me call in, and I'm going to talk to you boys soon. I'm going to try to hop in the chat here soon.
All right, man. You have a good one, sir. Stay indoors.
So
something's going on tonight.
So let's address this point. Okay, go ahead, Ryan. So thank you, Kels, for joining to the chat. So let's consider about this point. What do you think about Christian Watson over Deebo with Trey Lance?
No, not at first. I think Christian would be kind of trying to figure out his way. So I don't think he would be, on the field ready. You know what I mean? From the start. So I think maybe, halfway, 3/4 through the season, I think certain things would start clicking. And I think you'd start to see them do so out the gate. No, not at all. Also, I think you're talking about taking Deebo out of the offense, which was essentially last year's total part of the offense, other than Elijah Mitchell. Granted, with Trey under center, hopefully people like George Kittle will be able to do more. I mean, I expect him to be able to have 1,000+ yard season with Trey at the helm. I think but you could say that with having Brandon Ayuk there and Juwan Jennings, that they could get some stuff done. You know what I mean?
Yes, but still we need someone else. Yes, we need someone else. But okay,
Yeah.
just coming back to the original point that we wanted to discuss. Now, if we get a first round pick for Deebo, what if, just an idea, I'm not going to
If
draft
we get a first round pick,
wide receiver for that first round pick, I'm going to get a offensive lineman. Then maybe I'll trade up in the second round and get a wide receiver. Do you think that is a stupid idea, bad idea?
What I would actually do is I would go after the offensive lineman, but I'd probably trade down first, depending on where the pick is.
Okay, that's interesting. Why would you trade down? Why?
Because I'm not looking for a starting right tackle. I'm looking for a center at this point.
Okay, makes sense.
Centers are less they don't go as quick. You know what I mean? So you might be able to move down, depending on where the pick is. You might be able to move down, get more capital, and then be in time to grab a center.
Starting center, of course, right?
Starting center, yeah. Like your first string center, like Tyler Lindenbaum. You might, if you've got like a top 15 pick, you might be able to trade down to the 20s, somewhere in the 20s, and still get Tyler Lindenbaum. You know what I mean? And be able to pick up extra picks there. So then you could also use that extra pick that you get from that and use your other pick that you have in the second round or whatever, and essentially move up if need be to get the wide receiver like Christian Watson or something that you need. So you just, you know what I mean? Or you figure out what you got on the table, you work with that, you know what I mean? Because a lot of things depend on if you have confidence in this draft class. You know what I mean? So if you've got a bunch of guys that you think are winners, you want a lot of picks. You know what I mean? If you're unsure about some people, you still want a lot of picks. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Like, if that's the thing, they got a lot of needs. Did you listen to the Cone Zone today?
I could not. I was at work and I could not.
I totally forgot about it till like the last 10 minutes of my stupid lunch. I gotta send a reminder. So they were talking about the 1985 or 86 draft, one of those, where they did not have a first round pick whatsoever. I can't remember what they had.
Okay.
No, I think they only had a first round pick. I think they only had a first round pick or something. They moved down 3 times essentially to give themselves like a full draft class, where they essentially ended up getting themselves Tom Rathman, Charles Haley. You know what I mean? Like, they just did an all-star draft because they didn't have much, but they moved down enough. Oh no, they only had a second rounder.
Okay.
They only had a second rounder, so they moved down 3 times with that second rounder, and was able to come out with like Tom Rathmanson and Charles Haley and Taylor. What's his name? I'm drawing, but anyway, Taylor, like the guy who was opposite of Jerry Rice all those years. His first name's drawing a blank. Jim Taylor, I think. Kim, where you at?
You
should be there.
You go ahead and I'll just.
But yeah. So I mean, you can do with a lot with a little if your people are on John Taylor. Yes. So like, if your people know what's going on, you can have a hell of a draft with only a second round pick. You know what I mean?
John Taylor. Yes. John Taylor. Yes. I totally got you. And again, now.
Thank you, Kim.
About this Packers idea, when Kim put it in this way, I was like, no, it would be a bad idea, because if you put Deebo with Aaron Rodgers, and Deebo will probably make it up when Rodgers is not delivering. So that's a bad combination. We should not.
I got an idea.
Yeah, we
I
should
got an
not.
idea. Hey, Kim, I'll take it, but they have to take Jimmy and his full contract at the same time. Because see, they can have Deebo, but you're going to have that anchor of Jimmy and $27 million also. So you can figure that one out. And you know what I mean? And if you can figure that one out and use Deebo and win a Super Bowl, you deserve it.
Yes. So Brian, again, sorry, Mack. Again, I'm not saying that 49ers should bend backwards to pay Deebo. What I'm saying is that there are situations that when it comes to making decisions, you have to consider the player as well. Yes, if he thinks that he deserves to get paid, then if he's something that we cannot afford to. I mean, let's forget about football for a moment, right? Even at our jobs, even at our careers, there are some situations that you might feel like, okay, I deserve to get paid, but the company is not willing to pay. But company would say, okay, we understand your value, but at this moment, this is all we can do. Then you are going to take another job. Not because you hate the players, but you feel like, okay, you need to move up your career, you need to make money while you can. So I think it's sometimes, yes, I understand your point, because as fans, even myself, I would be really devastated, sad if Deebo is gone. But at the same time, that's what it is, because sometimes you have to think that that's what is best for the player. Yes, I think still the team would be there. Team would come up with something, but so we will have to make up our mind. So that's all I'm saying. Nothing saying that we have to bend backwards to pay Deebo, just saying that sometimes it is what it is, so he deserves that. Okay.
Yes.
So Deebo. Yes. So again, now I mean, we were talking about Deebo for a long time, so there was another topic. So we touched this topic in between while we were talking about Deebo, Alex Mack. So okay, I think I did not make it as a ticker. That's my bad. So let me quickly make a ticker for this one. So okay, you can start this one. What do you think about Alex Mack if he's not returning, Ryan?
Well, geez, Alex, you could have done us a solid and figured this out a minute ago, bro. Like, if you can't figure it out a couple weeks before the draft, it's a no. All right. Let me just tell you that. What up, Kels? Rawr. This really annoyed me. Like, I understand that Staley was holding the news, holding the news until they were able to make that trade. You know what I mean? I understand that. He's not holding the news. He's just, I don't know. Like, bro, shit or get off the pot. Like, I'm just sick and tired of it. Figure it out. Return of the Mac was again. Turn on. Was it from? I can't remember the stuff in the background. Oh, I wish I could say it. Oh, it sounded so cool. I think it was like auto-tune before auto-tune, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? It was actually somebody sound. You don't know that song, do you? Return of the Mac?
I don't have idea about that.
Hey,
No
this
idea.
this is a song that you put on when you got the champagne with two glasses. You know what I'm saying? And the lights are cut down low. Yeah.
So here's the story. So if anyone is not aware of the story, so Alex Mack still undecided whether he is returning or not. But one interesting fact, if you remember the first few games last season, he was bad. His snaps were slow. It was all over the place. If you remember, Trey Lance was just taking during the Cardinals game. He was just taking, getting that snap from a one hand. It was tad slow. Quarterback was in trouble, but eventually, when the season progressed, he stepped up. He held the fort in that offensive line. But can we fill that void if he leaves? Are you scared that already we know Tomlinson left? So are you scared given the fact that Tomlinson is left the 49ers? Is that something 49ers can afford, losing Alex Mack, allowing him to retire?
Y- yes,
Okay.
because they're just gonna have to figure something out. That's the fulcrum of the whole offensive line. Essentially, is that center.
Yes.
You got the left tackle. That's for the quarterback. The offensive line is ran by the center. Okay, so you need continuity there. It's not going to be Daniel Brunskill. If that's why I was saying if Alex Mack retires, that might actually force the 49ers' hands, essentially in their eyes, to trade Deebo.
Okay.
The only issue is at that point there might be bloods in the water. You know what I mean? Like, how to put this? So if I'm all of a sudden not taking offers, right? And then all of a sudden I'm start listening to offers because my center now not only now people know I need a center, and I need to off Deebo to get a center. But now when it comes to the draft, guess who people might take? They might take that center that the 49ers want. You know what I mean? So it can show your hand in two different ways. I guess it wasn't blood in the water. It was a little bit of blood in the water, but it was also showing the hand and how it could be played and how it could play it against you.
Yeah, that's true. So just answering the Baymax question, I would say it's not. I would say it's not an unpopular opinion. Even I was thinking along the same lines. If 49ers can't pay Deebo, it's better to let him walk, in the sense trade him and use that draft capital in return to fill some holes. Because I was especially thinking about the offensive line. Use that first round pick to get a offensive lineman or center if we have to, and get a wide receiver. Trade up, like early pick in the second round. Trade up, get a wide receiver. So I'm with you. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion at this point, because if given the fact that it seems like Deebo's camp, they also want out. If the 49ers can't do anything, I think Baymack made a great point earlier as well, because he said that 49, I think the 49ers are building a culture, a transparent organization, so they wouldn't not try to force Deebo with franchise tags. So if that is the case, I'm totally with you on this point. It's the best thing to do for the both parties. Let him walk. I mean, trade him, get the best you can, and fill the other holes that you have, and try to work something out. So I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. It makes sense. It totally makes sense.
I need to do a PSA. This is trash. It tastes like Mark Schaefer's armpit. Back when I was a wrestler, my first year, had a senior showing me the ropes, and he would essentially pin me and then just put his arm over my mouth. So like I just like essentially tasted his armpit. It was amazing. A little bit of hazing there, but yeah, that pretty much it reminds me of his armpit. I'll drink it though. I paid $4 for it, so I'll drink it. I drink a lot of out of date beer. Like I don't have a weak heart when it comes to that. I just want you guys to know it is not as cool as the picture on the can.
Okay, so we talked about. We talked about Deebo Samuel a lot today. So basically, the entire episode was about Deebo, then Alex Mack. So Ryan, other than that, we have Jimmy Garoppolo news. I didn't create a banner, but he will not participate any off-season activities in the building. Anyway, he's recovering from the surgery and whatnot. So, what is your thought on that?
It's not because he's recovering from the surgery.
But he is still technically he is recovering. He can't throw.
You don't have to throw. You can be there for installments and all this type of stuff. The reason he's not going to be there is because it's Trey's team now.
Okay. So do you think do you take that as a positive in terms of future?
So, hey, you know what we need to talk about? We need to talk about Carolina Panthers.
Yes, that's a news that I almost forget.
Yeah. Let's because that I think that rolls into Jimmy G, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yes. So again, so just answer me. So do you think it as a good thing for the 14? I mean, the Trey Lance overall, because okay, if Jimmy is not there, so he doesn't have any distractions in the sense like other players just not wonder, okay, whether Jimmy is going to be there at the beginning of the season. So now Trey Lance can just be the leader that the team want to be. So even it's not public, there are multiple reports that team has assured Trey Lance that he's going to be the starter. So do you think it has a positive thing for Trey Lance moving forward that Jimmy is not in the building?
Yes. It's 100%. Think about this. You're George Kittle.
Yes.
I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, right?
Yeah.
You've seen me for what, 4 years, 5 years? You know what I mean? At this time, every time at this time, you know what I mean? We talk in the hallways, this and that, no matter what we're doing. Now all of a sudden I'm not there. Okay. Now you're having to learn what it's like without me there, right? Okay. Now imagine me being there for a couple weeks and then not. So I tried quitting smoking many a times, okay? Let me tell you. So now when I'd have a pack of cigarettes left and I decided I was going to quit, no matter how many cigarettes I had left, I had to throw them away because I knew if there was any there left in the morning, I was going to smoke them. And then about a couple hours after that, I was going to run to the store. Okay. Because I had already started smoking that day and might as well just go to the store and start again when this pack runs out. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Just got to rip. This is ripping the Band-Aid off, bro. This is ripping the Band-Aid off.
Yes. So let's talk about the final topic of the day, Jimmy G to Panthers. Now there are news circulating that Panthers had done their homework. They have evaluated about Jimmy, so on and so forth. So do you think that's a possibility? Because Panthers, they have the 6th pick in the NFL draft this year. Yes, they have the number 6 overall. So still, that's why it doesn't make sense to me, because why would they trade for Jimmy when you have number 6 overall pick and the teams above you? Most of the teams does not want quarterbacks. For example, let's go through the draft order, right? Jaguars, they have a quarterback. Lions, I don't think they will draft a quarterback since they have Jared Goff for at least multiple years. Then Texans, they have David Mills. Yes, they might be swayed to draft a quarterback, but I still don't think. Then Jets, you have Zach Wilson. Giants, I think they are going to go with Daniel Jones, giving him another chance. So Panthers, I believe, most probably they either can get at number 6 Kenny Pickett or uh, Malik Willis. So
Waruna,
yes,
you're not looking through the eyes of a coach who has one foot out the door. Well, not he doesn't have one foot out the door, but his chair is about 3 rollers out the door. You know what
okay,
I'm saying? Like somebody is pulling his chair out the door.
yes,
Okay. And you're talking about the weakest draft class in a very long time as far as quarterbacks.
yes,
And you're talking about even like the draft class supposedly was supposed to be really good last year with, quarterbacks, right? Look what happened there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, some people didn't have teams around them well. Okay. We can say that, but also the Panthers don't necessarily have the team around them well too, 100%. It's not like a Trey Lance going to the 49ers and
so,
playing
so
situation.
here's the counter argument. Here's the counter argument.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. So, like, time is of the essence. He can't train a rookie quarterback to get him to the playoffs, essentially. That's a
Yes,
rebuild. You got 1 to 2 years with a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? Before you can hopefully have a winning season. Okay. He doesn't have that time. He's got to win now. You know what he sees? He sees Jimmy Garoppolo. He sees Baker Mayfield. He needs to do one, right? He needs to do one or the other. You know what just happened? One of his wide receivers was like, "Oh no," about some news about Baker Mayfield. Like almost like he's got homies over there who've been like, "Yeah, this dude's fucking trash." You know what I mean? Telling him all the stories of how he's a piece of shit person. You know what I mean? So that's a big issue, bro. Like I will take a pay cut to enjoy my job than to get a pay raise to hate my life. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Yeah. So you know what I mean? They're talking about bringing someone there to your team who might have more arm talent, might have better decisions but he's gonna isolate people. You know what I mean? He's gonna push people away to the point where people don't want to work with him. So even though they might be able to do all this, that there might be other underlying situations that affect someone catching a stupid ball. You know what I mean? Like this is not what they're looking for. And what they know is that Jimmy G is that. But he came out, Mike McDermott, was it? Or was it McDermott? No. Mike, he said that Sam Darnold was the starter. Did you hear about this?
yeah, I believe so. Yes,
And then a couple seconds later, he's like, "Oh, I wasn't supposed to
yeah,
say that."
yeah,
So Sam Darnold might be the starter. Jimmy G might have to be cut. And we might know this, obviously, real quick towards the draft. I think that's why it came out and they said that Jimmy G wasn't going to be at the thing
yes,
because you have all this noise that's coming out and they're just preparing people. He is going to be on the roster essentially, but he does not have anything to do with this team. You know
yes,
what I mean? And I
yeah,
think that's it's just preparing people because
yeah,
they're trying to figure out how to save that 7.5.
yeah.
That's what it is. And I'm okay with that. Okay. I just, I would like them to say something about it. Oh, well, no, I guess they don't have to say something
Yeah,
about it,
they
but
don't
like
have to say anything about it.
they
If
don't.
the plan, yes, that's true.
Yeah, they
Only
don't.
thing about Panthers, but I thought about, I mean, trading for Jimmy Garoppolo did not make sense to me. It's like they have the 6th overall pick, then again 137. They have no picks in between. So most probably then they will have to trade down, give that pick for Jimmy, whatever it is. But still, the problem is this: last year with 49ers, having Deebo, Kittle, Warner, the defense and everything, Jimmy still won 10 games. The season was 10-7. If for some chance Saints had healthy quarterback throughout the season, they could have easily knocked 49ers away and made it to the playoffs. So given that, does the Panthers have the same players the ability around to put Jimmy Garoppolo to have a winning season. That's my problem. So to me, it doesn't make sense. I would rather take a chance at number 6. If Malik Willis is there still at number 6, I would go for him. I would go with Malik Willis and try it rather than uh, going nowhere with Jimmy. Because I feel like if you want to have Jimmy as the starter, then you need a solid defense, the offensive line, and everything. Yes, Panthers have a solid defense. They had some injury issues last year, but still, I believe it doesn't make sense.
So, we also don't know what their idea in the draft is. So, like, who knows? Maybe if they're gonna get Jimmy, they're gonna go straight out strong rush offense, heavy D. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, they might be okay.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about if you get a fancy edge, okay. Fancy edges don't necessarily need rookie years to sit behind somebody. You know what I mean? They're kind of plug and plays. So you can get those guys to give you more pressure on the quarterback. You know what I mean? You can get yourself a running back in the second round. You know what I mean? There's stuff like that you can do. And if you're trading down from your first round down, you could trade down 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, the problem with Panthers, they are in a really tricky situation, right? So let me go through their picks they have right now. For pick number 6, then pick 137, fourth round. Again 144, fifth round. 149, fifth round. 199, sixth round. 242, seventh round. So basically, they don't have that much draft capital. Even if
That's
they
why they will move down.
I mean, even if they move down, can they get everything done? Like trade for Jimmy, get this fancy edge or whatever the other players. Can they do everything?
Every time you move down in the first round, you get if they're at 6, you move down, you get another first round that's somewhere up to the top, right? In the 10 to 15 area. Then you get a second out of that. And then you move that down to the 15 to 20 area and you get a third rounder for that. I'm guessing.
I got your idea. So basically what you're saying is you trade down multiple times in the first round, and in the meantime build some draft capital between second and third rounds that you don't have right now. So use one of that picks, trade for Jimmy, as well as use your first round pick, get to whatever the fancy edge or the other player that you need.
That's like, let's say the 49ers trade Deebo, right? You said the Jets, they got number 6 right? Or
Jets
who's
number 5? Let me
Jets number 5. Okay. So you trade from number 5 down to maybe number
Jets
number 4?
Giants are 5.
Okay, so maybe trade down to like 6, 7, 8, something like that. Right? You might get yourself a late or mid second rounder. I am not the draft capital king when it comes to this.
No,
just saying,
you
keep moving it down there, you might find yourself in the 20s and having 3 or 4 picks out of it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You do it right. People want to move up for certain things. Like you got, oh man, you've got your DNs, you've got your DBs. Everybody's looking for their one specific person to fit the scheme. Once you figure out what people's needs are and where they're going, it's just a little bit of pushing and it gets them to crack real quick. You know what I mean? One thing you could do right now is, okay, so if you knew that you might have to trade Deebo right now, one thing you could be doing is start doing these top 30 interviews. You can be doing is start top 30 interviews with people with teams that might want players that are at those certain marks. You know what I'm saying? At those certain areas. And then that makes them, because the 49, John Lynch did this with Trubisky. And when they went to go get, was it Solomon Thomas?
Yes.
They were there. They looked at Trubisky, and the Bears were so scared that they were going to take Trubisky. They gave him the very next pick.
Yes. So
And
the 49ers had 2nd overall. Then they traded down to 3rd, and Bears moved up to number 2.
Yep. And the 49ers got a pick out of that, just moving down one.
Yes.
Because they did a little due diligence on a quarterback. See what I'm saying? There's things you can do.
When you explained it, it totally made sense to me. Yes.
Especially if you're like, oh, let's look at this safety when you know I need a center. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even going to call Tyler Lindenbaum. Not even going to call him. You know what I'm going to call? Every safety, cornerback, edge rusher, all of them. You know why? Because that's who I'm now taking in the first round. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, underneath my glasses.
Yes. So just before we finish, let's say they get Jimmy, but what do you do with Sam Darnold? Because his cap hit is going to be almost 19 million. So what would you do with him? Just cut him? I'm not sure what his contract is, whether they have no trade clause or something, but
he's got something saying they can't get rid of him. He's a rock on there. I think Kim might know, but he's a rock on their books right now. He can't go nowhere.
That's unless the other part, because if that is the place, unless otherwise Jimmy G wants to restructure his money, then it would be basically $45 million QB room. That would be a hefty price tag for like average.
I think Jimmy would be down to restructure.
Yeah, makes sense. They have to. Especially if Panthers want to trade, they have to force Jimmy to take a pay cut, because they can't do that with paying 19 million to Sam Darnold already. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think
it's Jimmy's last chance in the league, I'd say.
Yeah, his last chance to be
as a starter at least.
Yes, he has to take that.
It behooves him to play ball.
This is a great line. But I'm not sure whether this is offensive or not.
Oh God. Hey, not just fat women. I got me some Sam Darnold.
Let's say everybody.
Oh, Waruna, you telling me you got some fat on you that you're ashamed about, or you're embarrassed about?
I do. I have some belly fat. I usually want to look like, what you call,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Or who else? Dwayne Johnson. Yes, I would want to look like them, but I never will be. But I understood the sarcasm from Mack. Yes. So on that note, let's finish today's episode. So we went on for almost 75 minutes. It's been great. We had multiple people joining in. Mack came for the first time. Kept the chat running as always. Kim, Korean 49er, as you all know, he's the cornerstone in our every show.
We need to get him in on a chat, or not a chat, but a show. We need to give him his own show. I'm telling you, we just pick his brain.
Yes,
maybe should we do that? Kim, would you come on for a show after the draft to discuss your thoughts on how the draft went? Let us know in the comments. But yeah. Whoa, you sort of look like Dwayne. Oh, look at this. Oh, sorry, did I take my bad. Yes.
Mack. Yes. So Kim says sounds good. So yeah. Okay. So
I think I got you on Discord, Kim. We'll set that up.
Yes, we'll set that up. Okay.
Hey, Mac, thank you for tuning in, and all your comments, sir.
Yes,
We really appreciate it.
not your average sports kid.
Kelts came in here.
Yes, so
Sports kid too.
yes, he also turned up. So everyone who joined today, thank you very much. We
Baller.
enjoyed. Yes, bowler. So we talked about basically Deebo, everything we had to talk about. So wish everyone a good night. Let's hope as 49er fans we get to hear some good news about Deebo, Alex Mack. But whatever happens, let's take it in the positive note and let's be civilized, because I was worried when Deebo said on, I believe on Instagram, that he had death threats, some racial comments, so on and so forth. I think nobody should go there, because end of the day, it's a sport. And that man has done enough for the 49er community as a player, for the team. So he deserves our respect. We should never go down that path. So even though I didn't do it, I know Deebo is not listening to this, but Deebo, as a 49er fans, I would like to ask your forgiveness for all our 49er community. If anyone did hurt you with comments or whatever way, anyone did something to you, attack you, I ask for the forgiveness. I apologize to you, Deebo, because you are a great player and you did so much for the 49ers.
All right. Thank you very much, Deebo. Really appreciate you, sir. I second all that. Yeah. And Waruna, you have anything to say?
No, just enjoyed this show today. Amin is here, so let's just say, to wrap up the show, let's get Amin to
1,000 subs.
Yes. Have a good night.
Peace.